Thank you so much, Lauren. And continuing in the theme that I identified earlier of just kind of community really running through this particular curation, the next person that we have has co-runs a music community of her own, and I got to check out their salon 2 weeks ago at Rockwood Music Hall, and it was in stage three, and it was a very special moment for me because the last time that I was in Rockwood stage three, it was February. It was February of 2020, and Soundshop had a residency in stage three, and so it was just really special to go back to where I was having Soundshop's residency back then and seeing another, amazing music salon coming through that stage. But yeah, without further ado, I'll pass it to Jasmine Jang.
Hello. Thank you, Akpan for that intro. It's been so wonderful. We've only met like 2 weeks ago, but I already feel such like wonderful sense of community from everyone. My name is Jasmine. I am a singer-songwriter. Born and raised in New York City. Anyone else? Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I started writing songs. My parents are immigrants. Anyone else child of immigrants? Yeah. And so my dad, especially when he immigrated here, his relationship to music was kind of formed through just him getting to know America, and so a lot of his love for music came from getting to know the language and really listening to a lot of 70s and 80s singer-songwriters. And so my love for music, I think, kind of was passed down through that. And so I grew up as a really quiet and inward-facing kid. I'm still very introverted, so I'm thankful. Thank you for challenging me to do a gig around conversation and talking. But yeah, so I started writing. My musical journey began with classical piano, but yeah, I really sort of fell in love with music through songwriting and it being kind of an outlet of expression for me. So for a long time, I was writing songs in my room as a kid and not really sharing them. And it was just sort of a thing that I could call my own. But yeah, for the last 6 or 7 years, it's been my primary focus. There's something really beautiful and magical about sharing something you've made with other people and opening that dialogue and yeah. So I'm gonna play a song. It's a new song that I finished writing a couple months ago. But like I mentioned, I'm a child of immigrants, and so my parents they worked really hard growing up and really sort of passed down this like you have to work really hard for your success. You have to always kind of show how capable you are in the room at all times, and so I really carried that around with me a lot growing up and in my own career, and it wasn't until I was an artist and in the music scene that I realized that there's no such thing as the best, and that how hard you work isn't always kind of equated to the success that you see, and that really, kind of broke my heart a little bit. I was like, I have no control over anything, and yeah, I think that really, really wrecked me. And so, yeah, this is a song. I guess it's kind of a pep talk to myself, but just sort of like realizing that the value that you have in this world doesn't come from how capable you are or being the best or anything like that. So This is called Number One. I lost the pen. Will you still love me if I'm not number one? If I didn't bring home a trophy, if my best just wasn't the best, and I'm just a streetlight in Manhattan's treasure chest. Will you still love me if I just call it quits? If I dance and I fell, if I sang and all the words just welled up inside a sponge of foolish pride, holding on to all this mess. I'm loved when I make it, I'm nothing if not. I'm scared I'll think like this forever. Number one don't exist, and I know this now. But what if I can't stop running after? Who am I without it? Will you still love me if the walls just all came down? If you saw all the reds and all the hues of bruises never fading now, would you take one more step on out that open door? I'm loved when I make it, I'm nothing if not. I'm scared I'll hear that forever. Number one don't exist, and I know this now. But what if I can't stop running after? Who am I without it? Will you still love me if I'm not number one? If it's just you and me existing, if I found there's light around me without busy hands, and we let go of the rest. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable and share a piece of my heart with you. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. Okay. Am I familiar with Vienna Tang? Yeah. Vienna Tang had a huge impact on my life as a budding songwriter when I was a teenager. Oh yeah, if you don't know about Vienna Tang, I don't know where you've been. No, I'm kidding. But She is a singer-songwriter. I think she was is from California area, but she did live in New York for a brief period of time. But I don't really know how to describe her style. How would you describe it? I am Vienna Tang. No, I'm kidding. um, yeah, she kind of has folk vibes, but also pop, and she's very cool. Also classical piano, yeah. Yeah, that's a good description. A more measured Regina Spektor. But yeah, I think her like primary range of like where she's most active in music was in like the early to late 2000s, I would say. But yeah, she had a really, really big influence on my life. Not just musically, but I think just to see like another Asian American singer songwriter making music had a really big impact on like the belief that I could also be doing that. And so like, musically I was inspired by her and loved her lyrics and her writing, and but I think the decision to kind of be able to share my music came from just seeing her on stage and also sharing hers. But yeah, she's great. Yeah. The first time I performed, well, oh, okay, because I was like piano recitals. um, One of my songs, it was freshman year of college. I studied business in school, actually. And there was a piano in the lobby of the dorm room that I was staying at, and they were doing this open mic. And I had just finished writing the song, and I was talking to my friend at the time, and I was like, should I play this? And he was like, yeah. And then, so I did. But yeah, that was the first time I sang and played one of my own songs. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. In addition, uh, that's a weird thing. So in addition to me being Vienna Tang, no I'm kidding. um, so I run like Akpanalua said. Me and Haley, we run this organization called Keepsake House, and we put on shows kind of similar to this. It's roundtable style shows where there are multiple artists on stage, and they take turns and we converse with each other, and it's really lovely because these real time connections are being made on stage in front of audiences. But last May we did something for API month. We co-produced a bunch of shows with Alex Wong. Does anyone know who Alex Wong is? Yeah. He's a really great singer, songwriter, producer who has collaborated with Vienna Tang a bunch of times. But we wanted to have headliner sort of Asian American artists and as well as local acts. And so Vienna Tang was one of them. And like a sly person, I put myself on that bill. And yeah, it was really crazy to be playing with two of my very big influences growing up. So yeah. Was your other question? Mm-hmm. Um, no. I think I wrote this song when I was really depressed, and I think I was just more vulnerable when I wrote it, and so a lot of that vulnerability just like came out naturally in the song. But yeah, it was it was cool writing it in that way, I guess. It is. It makes me very emotional to sing this one, so I really appreciate that it was so silent in this room. I was like, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, I started going to therapy around that time, and therapists are great. They just ask you all the right questions and help you reflect on your life. Um, and so I guess I was feeling like really down about just I don't know, just stuck on my career, feeling like I wasn't good enough, and all of these feelings were kind of coming up for me, and I couldn't really pinpoint why, or like, I didn't feel like I was going through anything like traumatic, or like nothing big felt like it was happening to me. But yeah, I think I just realized that some of these feelings have kind of come from just growing up the way I did, um, and I had this moment of clarity that I really wanted to kind of capture. And so the lyrics kind of came out really quickly, and I because generally when that happens, I'm like a little more carefree with the chords and like the melodies, and I'm just sort of like, oh, that sounds good, I'll just put it down, sort of thing. So yeah, the lyrics kind of move this really along really quickly. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Oh, that's a good question. My mom grew up playing piano, but I think she stopped when she was like 10. But she really enjoys like singing. She sings a lot of like silly things around the house, and so I find myself like also singing silly things. I think I get that from her. And my dad plays a little guitar, so sometimes we do jam out a little bit at home. So it's fun. Oh yeah, and my sister, I forgot. Thank you, Haley. You should be answering these questions. My sister plays jazz piano, so yeah, yeah. Lauren, get it back up here. I don't know anything about horses. I love dogs. Yeah. I think everybody loves dogs. Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe not everyone loves dogs. um, yeah. Yeah, no, I grew up in. I mean, I was born in Queens, so and I lived really close to my family, so I was around them all the time. But when I was a kid, my parents moved out to Long Island, actually, like bumblefuck, no, Long Island. So I was not surrounded by Asians or any people of color really. So that was definitely challenging growing up, and felt kind of like an outsider for a long time, and found my voice a little later on. Yeah. How are we doing on time? Good. Questions? One more minute. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Um, I think the answer to "Will you still love me?" is yes. I think that like yeah, I think I'm learning that you know the way other people see me, like people who love me see me, and the way I should see myself is that it doesn't matter what I do or what I accomplish in this life. Like it's that shouldn't really equate to how much you can be loved or anything like that. So I mean, I'm realizing this, but am I practicing it? I don't know. But yeah. Uh, let's see. I would really love to get better at rhythm and like just I don't know exploring. I would like to seamlessly write a song in 5/8 without any challenges. So I would like to like pick up drums or just like know like just be better at rhythm or have it come naturally. There you go. Well, thank you so much for your questions and for listening. Thank you.